welcome back once again to Critical Rocket in my Innosphere Mechwarrior series. Today is the next 55 tonner on my list, the Shadowhawk. As you can see, this will be the Project Phoenix version, but still the Prime, the 2H. Very cool looking mech. Definitely one of my favourites visually. I love the square sort of head cockpit. Looks awesome, the AC5 sticking out there. This is pretty much standard, LRM5, Ultra AC5 instead of the standard, a medium pulse instead of a medium, and the SRM2. Obviously, not the most damaging loadout. A lot of people do run them quite differently, admittedly. Gauss versions, AC20 versions, people who just run multiple AC2s. But with this series I try and keep them as close as possible to the defaults. And this one I think I've done a pretty good job with. Definitely more in the support line, but you have to remember, on tabletop the Shadowhawk wasn't ever a frontline mech, it was a command mech. So it had a kind of a mixed bag loadout for every occasion. As you can see there from the cockpit, it's nice and roomy, and a great field of view. Just the nice square block right in front of you. So you're not getting any bars crisscrossing, a bit like anything like the Locust, that kind of thing. Decent speed, relatively good armour. It's got jump jets as well, so it makes the Shadowhawk quite nippy, quite manoeuvrable for the sort of 55-ton logo. Just trying to figure out where everyone's going at the moment. That's the tactical map you see there. There really should be more uses for the tactical mapping game. Maybe PGI will work on that in the future, but hell, if you know anything about PGI, sometimes they can be a little slow on adding new material. So yeah, as you can see, the build is quite eclectic. Its main damage dealing weapon is its AC5 or UAC5. I tend to use that as a suppression weapon, or to try and knock down mechs that have had their internals exposed. The AC2 and the medium pulse I run together, so about close range I use them both in tandem, just firing at the same time. It works generally well, when you're in a brawl. And the LRM5 is mainly just harassment. I use it just to fire at larger mechs at range that are distracted, and it keeps the damage up. I'll admit, the build isn't the best suited for Mechwarrior Online. It's great on the tabletop, but yeah, in this game, you do, even I have to admit, you do probably have to rebuild this to be anything more effective on the field. I still enjoy running it though, and if you're going to actually build it with your own ideas, then with your own idea in mind for what exactly you want to run, this is a great mech. It can do a hell of a lot of damage. There are versions that you can run multiple streaks in, have a nice light hunter, a few SRMs now that the hit registration is working, so be very punishing like that. You can focus on that big heavy ballistic slot. The great thing about the Shadowhawk is actually very hard to knock out its left and right torsos. The hitboxes are relatively small. You've got more chance of losing your CT than you ever do your left torso, so you don't have to worry too much about your AC exploding. It has a few drawbacks, obviously. This Prime variant only has the one energy slot. A lot of people will stick a PPC in that right arm, so you can build something with a bit of punch, but it's quite hot. I kind of like the medium or the pulse. Some people put ER larges in. It's got enough room, it's got enough slots, so you can pretty much put any of the energy weapons in there without worrying too much. Its main strength is its missiles, really. If you can build it to have multiple SRM or LRMs depending on how you want to run the mech. So in that respect, it's quite balanced. Any kind of field you want to specialise in. Yeah, this fight is on Alpine Peaks. Don't know if any of my previous videos I probably one of my clan ones were. This is one of the much larger maps that they made. I have a real love-hate relationship with this map. Sometimes it's good for me, sometimes it's terrible. It's not as bad as the likes of Terra Therma, but it's up there. It really is. This is a assault map. So the team I'm with, where we start, is usually the weaker section of the map, because the other team basically start in their base with all this terrain that they can use for cover, and provided you obviously guard the entrances, you've got not only the base turrets protecting you, but you can also force them to come to you and just get lots of kills very quickly. It's so rare I get to start on this side of the map. With the base near me, I always start at the other end of the map, like at the beginning of this round. Actually, this is a rare occasion where a team is pushing forward. Ow! Yeah, that was a Gauss rifle shot that hit me there. I was quite lucky to avoid a lot of the artillery strikes that they were dropping as well. I like any of these rounds when I'm running stock weapons, sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes I just get lucky through. So like, oh, artillery, trying to get out of the way. And once again I managed to avoid it. That's I think the third artillery and airstrike I managed to dodge. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I fired the medium pulse there, it was just force of habit. But that's where you can use the UAC-5 and the LRM in tandem for long-range targets, and that Banshee definitely doesn't want to stick around for that.
New target acquired.
I would recommend this mech for obviously anyone who likes mediums. You're probably going to get this anyway. I definitely think it's one of the most impressive visual mechs in the medium category.
Target acquired.
If you were looking at picking this, I would say it's a good one for beginners in the medium category. As I said, you can build it with lots of different roles in mind. Sniper, brawler, light hunter, that kind of thing. LRM, maybe an LRM, but you can do a good SRM build and a good ballistics build and a good sniping build. You can put a decent sized engine in it. Its armor's pretty good. Its hitboxes aren't huge, so it's rare that you're going to get your side torsos critted. It's very rare you see these mechs get legged. Usually when a Shadowhawk goes down, it's just because it's CT, its engine gets blown up.
25% captured.
When you're fighting against one, it's recommended you take out the right arm, because generally that's where some players will keep things like PPCs. The legs, I would recommend attacking, because 9 times out of 10 players are going to have ammo in there for their ballistics or missiles, so you want to take them out. Yeah. Really sure what else there is to this mech that would tactically using one. I don't think I'd ever recommend this to be used in a frontline attack kind of role. It's best going in with other mediums or behind heavies and assaults. Because despite its decent weapon loadout, it's still a medium mech, so it's not going to be taking a lot of punishment. It's going to be dishing out a lot. I would recommend an XL engine for this mech. It definitely helps when you're trying to build a much heavier weapons build. Ferrofibrous is, I always put that down to personal choice. It's not mandatory for the mech, but it's certainly a benefit. Thinking back to it, I think I only run light mechs with Ferro, because usually you only get so many weapons in and you may as well have the extra armor protection. But mediums and upwards, generally standard armor works out pretty well. It's always a case that you never really have enough either slots or free space to make up for all the Ferro that you could stick in anyway. It becomes a bit of a difficult balancing act. On the point of Ferro, for the people who aren't really sure about it, basically Ferrofibrous is a lighter armor type that's stronger, but requires more critical space for your mech. So if you have a pretty, I don't know, small build, low weapons loadout, Ferro is useful. Otherwise, if you're going for lots of weapons and ammo, Ferro will just take up space that you will probably need for that stuff. Yeah, it's a pity I show third person on these videos at some point or another, so you can see the back end of the mech when it's running, and it's nice to see the animations. But I would love the ability to be able to rotate the camera around, so you could actually see the mech from side profile and a front profile. I know that could potentially give people a cheat kind of thing. I would like it for spectate. But I thought I'd run the rest of this match in third person. You can see the jump jet effect and when it fires.
New target
Bonk, stuck
acquired.
inside of a mountain. There we go.
Target
Little
destroyed.
RM5 launching there. And yeah, the last guy was a disconnect. So yeah, that ends the Shadowhawk video. Quite light on action for most of it, run back to the base, sorry about that. But yeah, Shadowhawk, down and out. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the other 55 tonners, the Griffin and the Wolverine, that'll be coming soon.